Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's always different getting up and coming to work. On my way to work is I'm like focusing on driving. And okay, and you turn, and I'm really trying to experience it, you know, as opposed to, you know, plowing through your life and not experiencing each thing that you're experiencing. Sometimes you sort of lose your priorities and you miss out on everything else around you.
I'm Allison Parsley. I am the dance teacher in PACE.
And I'm Zachary Moore. I am the theater teacher in PACE.
And we've worked with Bill for a little over 2 years now.
Yeah, about 2.5 years.
Yep.
It's quite the experience. The first time I met Bill, he was very serious, actually. He's very serious and asks very serious questions. And so I was like, oh, this guy's going to be like just sort of straight-laced. And I was very wrong. Things are very important to him, and he has a lot of love and care for the curriculum and what the students do. He's such a silly human being, and he makes things a lot of fun. And I think the first thing that I noticed after talking with him for a bit was his laugh.
His laugh is, you can hear it all the way down the hall. His laugh and his keys. Okay,
yes,
he has more keys than I think he even knows what to do with.
Who knows what the heck?
Who knows? I don't even think he knows what all those keys are for.
Has them.
But it's just like this massive key ring, and you can just hear it jingle jangling, and you know that Bill's on his way. You know that it's him.
It's like, you know, Santa Claus coming in with the bells on a sleigh. Coming through, like, hey, here comes Derby.
How am I doing? These things get unplugged and then they don't work if they're unplugged. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm to here. Okay. We need to get new headphones. we don't have the highest quality equipment all the time in here. We try to get something that works and use it. But the students come in, they sign in, and they pick up anything they need for here, and they go take a seat at the beginning of the class while the music is playing. And then I strike the gong, and I say, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen," into the microphone that I don't really need. So I'm getting my scores together because I'm doing a piece called The Tea House. I've composed a Chinese piece of music in a Chinese tea house that's a tribute to Chinese culture and to tea culture and to what China. And it kind of creates a tea house. I've made a set piece over here. That's the Chinese character for tea, which is cha, and that's going to be a set piece as we build a tea house on the stage. We came up with an idea, Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. That's kind of, that's been our sort of entrance music for the class. It's kind of become identified, in my mind, too, with the class.
I'm Will Ross. I'm in PACE for music. This is my first year in PACE. Met Mr. Derby last year. Just by coming into this room, he'd always let us come in and jam whenever we wanted. So I thought he was a cool guy. He's a bit eccentric, but that's what I like about him. I like to have eccentric teachers because I feel like they get the job done better, and you know, we have a lot of freedom in this class.
Hi, I'm Josh Lodge. I've been taking pace for 4 years now, and by far, pace 4 music is my favorite class. Derby he's a nut job, but he's a genius. He's amazing. I'm so excited. You know, I get pumped every time I get to go to his class.
I'm Natalie Spangle. I'm in Pace 2. I'm 15, and I've known Mr. Derby since around 6th grade when he was the chorus teacher, and now I'm in Pace, so I get to spend even more time with him, which is really fun. During my free period, sometimes I'll come to Pace Music and I'll borrow a guitar, which Derby will let you borrow anything basically at any time, just by asking, and just as long as you return it by the end of the period. So I'll just come here, and it's so relaxing and nice, and he knows that a lot of students really enjoy being able to do that during their free period. So I think that's awesome of him to allow us to be able to do that in practice, even when we just have a free period.
Truth is, we don't really see Bill in the morning. You know, he's got his own room, and so like he might come up here and put his lunch in the fridge.
Because, well, technically this is the Pace office, and this is technically his desk. He only does stuff here, like at lunch, because he's got his own classroom with his own computer and stuff. So we're usually over here, and so sometimes we won't see him until lunchtime, until the middle of the day. Yeah,
maybe. Maybe tech club at the end
So
of the
really,
day.
it's a mystery what he does in that class. You know, we hear things from students. You know, we're performing this song or whatever, but we don't know what's going on there. No, in all actuality, I mean, we just assume he just sits in there, and he many times, you know, you walk into his room and he's always hunched over his laptop doing some kind of work.
No. His favorite thing,
Oh, yeah.
he likes to sit in his room with the lights,
off. Working
at
on
his laptop in the corner,
Yeah.
so that if people walk by,
They think
don't
he's not
think
there.
he's there.
Because he doesn't want to be disturbed from his work. So, like, that's his trick.
That's his trick.
I hope students don't see this, because then they're going to just start charging into his room. But nonetheless, the lights are off and he's there, and I'll come in and there's nothing but the glow of the screen coming up into his face. But he's working. I don't know how he does it or how he's not blind. But yeah, he does that quite a bit. And then, of course, the rest of the day is once we hit the afternoon, all of us are sort of teaching all of our separate classes, and then we come together at Tech Club at the end of the day. You know, when it's his show, like for instance right now it's his show at Soundscapes, we rotate the different shows, it's the music show. We think, there's no actual proof of this, but our assumption is that he actually lives here. We have heard reports of him leaving the building maybe at midnight or 1 a.m. or something like that, or like whenever they kick him out. But I think sometimes, because he still wants to get stuff done, he'll like avoid people so they can't find him and they can't kick him out, and he just burrows into some little hole. Now that hasn't been verified as fact, but that's what I think kind of happens.
I have
sometimes.
questioned the cot in the costume loft a
Yes.
couple times, and I think he's utilizing it for a place to sleep.
Absolutely.
During showtime.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we try to tell him that he should like go outside sometimes and like breathe fresh air, but I don't think he's interested in that so much. He just sort of moles himself away and works.
There isn't much he doesn't do. He does a ton of work for Pace and for his show and for the students, and he actually really never stops working. Every time you see him, he's running somewhere to do something or to copy this or to compose something, but yeah, he never stops working. Somehow, and I really am not sure how, he manages to have an inside joke with each and every single student in Pace. You know, some of them I have no idea what they mean, but I really don't know how he has the mind to just remember who said what and, you know, the joke with them, but there he is now. Hi, Derb.
Michael, you should check out our new lobby.
Yeah, I definitely will.
We have new plaques, we have pictures that weren't there before. We have the new banner hung up.
I'll make sure to do that. Thanks.
Michael, this is Zach Ortieri.
Yeah, I've been interviewing.
Michael Bianco.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I'm
Derb.
going to the music room.
I'll see you there.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Derby.
As the students feel that they're not, that they're being put on a level beneath the other fellow students sometimes, or that they're being put on a level beneath the teachers, or being put on the level beneath, I I think it's important it's important for a teacher, especially a high school teacher, to make the students human beings. The idea, my idea of being a great teacher, which I don't think I'm a great teacher. I think I have a lot of strengths, and I love it. And I enjoy it. I make it enjoyable for a lot of the students. But my vision is for those students to be independent, to be like adults in the sense that they're able to take leadership, that they make decisions, that they experiment and figure things out, that they work with other people, that they you know, I think in the arts, a lot of times the concept in the professional model is you get these directors that are experts, and they're on a level, they're on a pedestal, and everybody just does what they tell them to do, and it works really well for making a great film or a great whatever, but it's not that great for the growth and development and confidence and independence and creativity of the performers. In fact, it makes them helpless, and that's the opposite of what you want to do as a teacher, as a mentor. You want to give the people experience.
Mr. Derby is the consummate professional. He never fails to know what to do to get you to create a piece of music. I can be totally unprepared, totally insecure about what I'm doing, and he's always there with the right kind of support or the right musical advice. And he doesn't talk down to me, even though he's this fantastic musician who really knows what he's doing. He manages to get me to see on his level, and whether he's bringing himself down or bringing me up, it doesn't really matter, because it meshes really well, and it always works.
My name's Mr.Shansky. I'm an English teacher at Mamaroneck High School. I've known Mr. Derby for 5 years now. So I've gotten to know Mr. Derby because we teach next door to each other, or 2 doors down. And it's really the past 2 years that we've gotten to know each other more. It started with him hearing about what some of my seniors were doing in a psychology and literature class, and him sharing what he'd done with dreams. And actually even before that, he'd always stop by to see like what I was working on, and conversations about like a lesson I was doing with the 9th graders might turn into how that could connect to something that was going on in musical collage. One year he did Greek myths, so we talked about some of those things, and that energy was infectious. So like I'd find myself in longer conversations with him. And this year he came into one of my classes to talk about his dreams, because he's been doing a dream journal, but like he'll let me stop by during the day to bang on a drum or to play along with one of his classes. And it's, I mean, that big picture creativity, and then the day-to-day, the passion with the students it's awesome. It makes me happier I'm happy to come to work, but it makes it even more exciting.
We were talking about the dreams, and I actually invited Mr. Shansky to my dream group that I attend in the city, and he came with me, and he invited me to come into his class and give a presentation. I brought in my dream journal, several of the books I've been working with, and the tools that I use for dream recall, and I did a brief presentation, question and answer, in the class, and it was really great because I've never stood up in front of a group and talked about it, and I've been working with dreams for a couple of years, And so that was fun. You learn a lot about who you are when you study your dreams and you pay attention to them, as if they matter. They kind of do. And if you just assume that your dreams don't really mean anything, then you don't find that they do. It's similar in life, you know. If you assume that everything is meaningless, you don't find any meaning anywhere, and you assume that you're right. But if you assume that everything has a lot of meaning, and you really search for what that could mean all the time, you find that life is really meaningful. And you could be wrong, that didn't really mean as much as I thought it did, but so what? A lot of times, that's not it's not the end of the world.
Hi, my name is Nick Viagas. I'm a one-year alumnus of PACE. I know Mr. Derby very well. I took PACE music. And the other day I had lunch with him and Michael, who is you, the one filming this. I ordered actually exactly the same thing. I got an order of steamed chicken dumplings. I didn't love them last time, but here goes nothing. I'm taking a year off between high school and college, and I'm occupying my time by running an LMC TV talk show. The closest I've ever been with Mr. Derby was when we were working on Soundscapes 2013. The entire music class was really involved with it, and he wrote the entire show. And he was really open, he was really fun, and obviously he was insane. That's what Mr. Derby is. Mr. Derby is one of those teachers we can tell that it's more than just a job. It may be just because he's crazy, but you can tell that there's something more at work than him just showing up to the high school every day and like talking to kids. You can tell that like him teaching satisfies some sort of primal need within him to maybe musically, maybe just in terms of his own humanity, his own, you know, his God. But learning from Mr. Derby is crazy. It's one of those things where you don't even notice you're learning from him. You just sort of, he's just talking and waving his arms, you have no idea what's happening, but afterwards you come away very different than you were before. Maybe just by nature of knowing a man who is insane.
How are you different?
How am I different? Jesus. How am I different because of Mr. Derby? It's hard to separate Mr. Derby from PACE sometimes. But I'm different from Mr. Derby because Mr. Derby was like my friend. There are other teachers who are amazing, but they're still teachers, and he broke the wall there, and he blurred it like, when we were workshopping stuff for the senior recital, he just let us sort of have free reign of the room, and he let us sort of do whatever we want. He taught me about teaching, weirdly enough. Yeah, he taught me that it's better if you get on the level of the person you're teaching, rather than sort of act like you're superior to them because you have more knowledge. He shared his knowledge with me rather than just taught it.
So I'm starting to lose my voice. This happens occasionally during the Soundscapes. Hopefully it'll be back next week. This is the Friday of the first week of Soundscapes. It's a very busy weekend leading up, and then it's rehearsals late every day. So, and the questions, the response to the foundation for the grant were due this week as well. So there's a lot going on right now, and I think my lack of sleep did me in a little bit with all the germs going around too. But hopefully, no talking this weekend. We'll be back 100%, or at least 50 by Monday. I never really presume that anything's gonna work out. You can't. One of the beautiful things about the future, but also terrifying, is that you really don't know. You really don't know what's gonna happen. You can do 100 great shows, and your 101st could be a disaster. You know, you could lose your voice completely and it never come back. I never have a sense of security that I'm going to live to be 70, and all of us are going to live, or 80, and in good health the whole time, and things will go well for me. I always presumed that I wouldn't make it to the age that I am now, and I never envisioned myself this old. I never envisioned myself this successful or this happy. None of the above. So I'm always just grateful and surprised that it's gone on this well, this long. And I do what I can, and that's all you can do. But I don't have any illusions of control. I know that the only thing you can control is yourself, and that's even difficult. So the common reassurances that people give each other all the time, which is kind of strange, but I never really participate in that necessarily. But I'm happy, and I believe in humanity, and I believe in the people that are around me, and I trust them, and I think that's the best. I think that's the best way to be.